To join us, Sean Lund, Brodie Brazil. We've been waiting to talk to Donte Whitner because he is optimistic that the 49ers are going to go on another second-half run. So let's get into it. They take on Tampa after the bye week, 4-4. Not exactly where they thought they would be, but they have a chance. Everything in front of them, and the division's not running away. The Cardinals 5-4. Rams also 4-4 after winning in Seattle over the weekend, and the Seahawks dropped to 4-5. So let's get to all of it. Our good friend Donte Whitner for our weekly conversation joins us courtesy of the Uma Guest Line. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Never better. Now, I was going to say, how did you enjoy your bye week? But you probably worked. Did you do more college ball this weekend?
I did a college game on Tuesday night. I did an FIU game. But I also purchased a condo recently in Fort Lauderdale that, I stayed here during the bye week. It gave me a chance to do some renovations and some things. So I'm still here. I'll be back in San Francisco on Saturday.
Very nice. All right, you know Brodie Brazil. You guys worked at the same place in the same building. So yep. Brodie's with me today instead of Pop.
Hey, Donte, if you need a contractor, I have no experience, but I'm a big Home Depot guy. So you just send me to Home Depot, get all your nails and flooring materials, whatever you need.
Well,
man.
I've dealt with those type of guys before, and I promised myself that I'll never go back. Only true professionals with permits and insurance and everything.
Oh,
so thank you. Thank you for the offer, though.
No shortcuts. No more shortcuts.
I'll just
shortcut.
I'll just drive to Home Depot. I won't touch anything. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I fired so many contractors in the past for not showing up. Man, I learned my lesson at an early age.
Yeah, me too, bro.
Smart man. Man.
All right, we've been playing a promo with you, and you do believe that the 49ers are going to go a second-half run like they've done. So why do you think that's going to happen?
Well, you get Christian McCaffrey back. It's almost like getting a player in free agency. He's going to be fresh. And we know how many different things and, how versatile he is to this offense. And then when you think about it, you have Kyle Shanahan, who accumulated the data from the first half of the season, and now he really knows how to attack defenses because it changes on a yearly basis and, different number and data sort of stands out. And then when you get a guy like Christian McCaffrey back, you really dictate to defenses as to what they can call. You won't see a lot of teams playing a lot of man-to-man coverage because if you go man-to-man coverage, they motion and shift, and they see you're in man coverage, they're going to utilize Christian McCaffrey, who wins at a high rate, versus linebackers, corners, and safeties, which means you're going to be playing a lot of zone naturally. And this is when Deebo Samuel, Jawan Jennings, and a lot of those receivers like George Kittle, who are really good after the catch, get to run through zone defenses unimpeded. So, that's why I felt like they're ready to go on their run. And then when you look at the track record over the last 5 years under Kyle Shanahan, I believe in 4 of those 5 years, they're going on runs in the second half of the season. They always start somewhere around 3-5, 4-4, and then they hit that switch. So I'm fully expecting that this year.
Donte, I'm just looking at McCaffrey even being on the field as a game changer, that other teams have to plan for him differently. They have to cover differently. It might open up something else to happen on the field, even if it's not going McCaffrey's way. What areas do you think Christian is going to have the most impact immediately? And I'm also going to ask kind of the side question of that is, do you just go to use him full 100% right off the bat, or do you ease him into this, or how do you do it if you're Kyle?
Well, I think you ease him into it with the way that Jordan Mason is running and Isaac Guerrero. You can start somewhere with 10 to 15 carries a game because of the way that those guys are and the production that they're getting on the ground. And so I think you really ease him into it, and then you go game-by-game basis. How do you feel? And he knows how he feels, and I'm pretty sure that he wants to play every play, so Kyle is probably going to have to protect him from himself early on. So I think that that'll be a huge issue. But then with opening up other guys, even in zone coverage, when you check Christian McCaffrey down, those guys have to have eyes on him, which is when, that play action RPO game comes into play, and you get Deebo Samuel across the middle to catch and run. So I think that's why he's easily going to affect his offense. But the most improvement is going to be in the red zone. Think about the 18 touchdowns he had in the red zone last year. They've been missing that production. And it's not just catching the ball out of the backfield. It's the way that he sets up his blocks. It's the experience. It's the cuts. It's the decisiveness. It's the efficiency and footwork. Those are all the things that you're going to get from Christian McCaffrey in the red zone, and it instantly improves your red zone offense.
Donte Whitner joining us at his trade deadline day. Some deals have gone down. The 49ers, as of yet, with the 1 o'clock Pacific deadline, have not done anything. So we've got 20 minutes to see if if anything happens. Offensively, even without Brandon Ayuk, Donte, I think they're going to be fine. They have a lot of weapons. Like you said, McCaffrey's coming back, Jennings coming back, Debo's there, Ricky Pearsall, Jordan Mason, George Kittle's on a run right now. So I think they're fine offensively. Defensively, I get nervous. Do you feel like Dre Greenlaw coming back from that Achilles, can he be Dre Greenlaw that we've seen this year, or do you think that'll take maybe a year without Achilles injuries for him to actually be himself?
Well, that's an individual basis as to how you heal from injuries, and does he retain his explosiveness and ability to get to sideline to sideline. So I can't really speak on that because I don't know how his rehab has been. But if you can, take a little bit from what you've seen from Dre Greenlaw on the football field, I can almost guarantee that he attacked his rehabilitation. So I would expect him to be the same when he touches the football field, and that's what you need. They've been missing that energy, that physicality, the ability for just the backside linebacker opposite Fred Warner to hold his own, cover backs coming out of the backfield, tight ends, tackle at a high rate. So I think that, when Dre Greenlaw is just similarly to the way that McCaffrey is going to be used early, I think you mix him in there. You give him 25 to 30 plays a game. You make sure that he's trending up to be healthy, but you definitely miss Dre Greenlaw. So it's almost like they're getting a bunch of different free agents back after this bye week.
Looking at the schedule ahead, and obviously Tampa Bay is going to be on short rest and probably a little bit frustrated based on how last night went, but they're the 49ers' next opponent. I mean, they've lost 3 in a row. That could have gone either way last night. But then it's the Seahawks at home, but then it's on the road for the Packers and Bills, two tough and interesting opponents. You get the Bears, Rams, Dolphins, Lions, and Cardinals. What are you looking at in the rest of this season, just in terms of the opponents and what lies ahead? I know the division has a lot to be sorted out. I mean, 5-4 and 4-5 are the difference between first and last place right now. Does the schedule, I mean, we can talk about the 49ers individually and who's healthy and who's not. Does the schedule provide the platform that the 49ers can do something special here?
Yeah, there's going to be a tough schedule. But I think that when you look at those games, 90% of those games that they go into, they'll be favored to win those games. And when you think about the talent that they have on both sides of the ball, it's pretty much equal to what they've had in the past. Have they performed up to that talent level? No. And that's where consistency comes into play. And this is where self-evaluation is critical after a bye week. You go into that bye week, you get a bunch of people that's in the data analytical department, and they bring down this big list of numbers and what you guys have to do and self-scout and how you can tweak certain things moving forward. So I think the 49ers will be somewhere favored in all of those games. It's just about how well do they perform. Can they get those guys back healthy and performing at a high level, all pro level? And it's going to come down to the defense, in my opinion. We know that the offense can score points. They get in the red zone. You get Christian McCaffrey back. It's going to go down to the defense. Stopping the run on a consistent basis, and then the pass rush. I would like to see the pass rush incorporate some stunts like they did going into the bye week, standing Nick Bosa up, some exotic things where they're just not back there like sitting ducks. But if they can do that, stay healthy, and they can play with continuity in all 3 phases, I think the 49ers are still set up to, make a deep playoff push.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I give them the benefit of the doubt like you do. I think that they're going to make a run in the second half. One of the things that has me that you were just talking about the pass rush, how about just playing the run in general? Because obviously they shut down Dallas. Dallas stinks running the football. They don't have a running game. They don't have a running back. But the Kansas City game concerned me just because Kareem Hunt is taking 2-yard runs and making them 4-yard runs. 4-yard runs were 6-yard runs. Mm-hmm. They're not tackling well. They're not they're not getting off blocks well. Can they do enough against the run? Because it's not only this season. This goes back to, obviously, we saw it in the playoffs. We saw it at the end of last year. And I think we can safely say now they're just not very good against the run. So can they stop the run well enough to make this run to make this run that they've done the last couple of years?
Well, naturally on the edges they have some smaller guys, but I think we can all agree that Nick Bosa has been playing the run phenomenally.
Yep.
And then you have guys like Malik Collins, who's 50-50 here and there, with the way that they expect him to play with technique, power, and get off the ball. But stopping the run has always just been attitude. It's seeing the gaps that's in front of you. When they pull guys to create extra gaps, make sure that you clear and get over the top, setting the edge. That's what it boils down to. So the 49ers, they have that and the talent and the capabilities in the room. And we've seen it on occasions where they stop teams and then they let a big run go through, or they start to wear down and miss tackles. It's championship mentality time. So that's what it boils down to in the playoffs, being able to run the ball at a high clip and stop the run. And the 49ers have the talent. It's just about doing it on an everyday on an every play basis. And I think they have that in the room. But until they get Dre Greenlaw back, I think it's still going to be a give and a take thing with the run. That's where you have to score points early. You have to score in the red zone, get teams behind so that you can unleash the pass rush and get exotic. So if they can do that, they don't really have to worry about stopping the run, but they have to score points early.
I like exotic, by the way. That's just one of my favorite things. Donte, as you look at the way teams manipulate their roster and acquire players and get better as a team personnel-wise, I mean, obviously the draft is huge. Free agency is huge. The trade deadline is within 15 minutes away now, 1 p.m. California time. Is any team really going to change their fate up to today and to today in these final couple minutes? Is any team really going to be that different because of any last-minute trade that they made?
No, I don't think it'll make a huge difference. One trade that I did see, and a guy that I know personally from my high school and college, that was traded from the New Orleans Saints to the Washington Commanders, and Marshawn Lattimore, I think that he'll make a tremendous improvement with the cornerback position there, only because he plays man coverage. He'll play cover 3 zone, cover 2. It's not that really difficult and intricate as a corner. So I think he'll make a tremendous impact, but a lot of people on the outside looking in think that a trade just automatically fixes the issues, but it doesn't. Right. Because these offensive playbooks and defensive playbooks are so intricate, and there's so much communication, there's so much lingo, that it's very difficult to come in and really integrate yourself and play at a high level and be where you're supposed to be and do what you're supposed to do. So it's really a long-term play a lot of times. I think Devondre Hopkins was the anomaly, and we saw that last night with the 80-some yards and 2 touchdowns, because you can plug and play him with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, and he can tell him pre-snap exactly what route to run and at what depth. But if you don't have a guy like that, like Patrick Mahomes, I don't think it really makes a big difference on the offense and defense side of the ball unless you get one of those premier pass rushers that you can put out there first and second down and even on third down and say, hey, just go get the quarterback. So nobody really made that type of move. I did see Zadarius Smith from the Cleveland Browns get traded, but I didn't really think that was a huge impact move. So a lot of these teams are just going to have to play better. There's going to be some luck involved. And then the team that gets hot in November and going into December are usually the teams that enter the playoffs on a high streak and they're favored to win the Super Bowl. So it's going to happen with the guys that are in-house already. They just have to play better.
Great stuff. Donte, thanks for the insight. Safe travels back, and we'll see you this weekend. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You guys have a great day.